It's another beautiful evening right here on the desk. My name is Ramsey Enoch. How do we do it on the desk? This is where we discuss pertinent issues from the national daily and, of course, issues of national and international interest. As a matter of fact, we also look at socio-political affairs as it has to do with Nigerians and everyone, whether at the diaspora or back home. Today, we'll look at some major headlines from the national dailies. You can't take it away that in PDP, all right, a lot still happening. Recently, we heard about the concession and the zoning, which almost resulted to something else, talking about the issue of Turaki. That is one among the many stories that we have on the national dailies today. And don't also forget that a lot is happening as preparation has been intensified in Anambra State, awaiting the by-election that will be happening very soon. And of course, a lot of reactions coming from the Dangote refinery as it has to do with promises coming up. As someone was talking to me behind closed doors and was trying to give me reasons why our own refineries cannot work anytime soon. But remember, one of the major promises that we got from the present administration was that our refineries were going to start working, especially the Port Harcourt refineries. What about NNPCL? Well, so much happening from that axis as it has to do with our refineries. But then the promise is coming from Dangote Refinery. Of course, there have been some comments from the House of Representatives that the Dangote Refinery is contributing immensely to the economy of the nation, and for that reason must not be sabotaged for any unionism or whatever. But then, where are we and how are we faring today? We'll be looking at the national dailies, especially the major headlines. A lot of headlines that we'll be looking at, depending on how much time we would be having on the program today. Okay, in case we don't take one story that you felt we should have taken, don't worry, it's because of time. Maybe subsequently on the program, we will be able to take it. I will be joined by very, very vital discussant today on the program. My guests are already seated in the studio, and of course, we will be introducing them to you much later after this break as we return to discuss some major issues from the national dailies and other socio-political matters that has to do with Nigerians, especially you and I. Let's go to a quick break. After this break, the desk return. I will pick it up from there. Stay with us. There is some level of, should I say, bula, I don't know how they call it, but some form of kata, misunderstanding, quarrel, intra-party crisis, whatever you want to call it, in the People's Democratic Party. We've been talking about how the convention is going to hold. But now, I think the date for that convention is already been slated to hold in Oyo State. Yes, that's by the way. But the issue of zoning, which was generating some form of controversy a few days or weeks ago, I think it's beginning to find its footing a little bit as the senior advocate of Nigeria, talking about Turaki, is now, of course, he has submitted his nomination form, chairmanship nomination form, I beg your pardon, and it has been accepted. Now, looking at the fact that he has submitted his nomination form, what is the next way forward? Joining me on the conversation today is Uyi Agbomofuegbe. It's good to have you on the desk this evening, Uyi.
As always, Ramsey, it's a delight.
Thanks for joining us. And of course, we have Usoro Ubong right here. Ubong Usoro. Okay.
The variations.
Well, I like the rhymes in your name. I like the Ubong Usoro Ubong. You know, it's sweet. It's good to have you join us on the desk this evening. Now, let's get to talk about the People's Democratic Party. That's one bit you also cover, and of course, you've been following most of the things happening. Right there in the People's Democratic Party. I don't want to say you're a chieftain.
I'm not a chieftain. I also cover Labour Party and APC.
I cover Labour Party and NLC and the rest. But now let's get to talk about the submission of the chairmanship nomination form by Turaki. You remember what happened in the first time when people were talking about the issue of zoning. What do you think? Because some people thought it was going to be rejected, but he has submitted as it is.
Right. Rams, let me just say this. This reminds me when I was in the university. My first, just year one, got into school, and somebody came, said he is the departmental political godfather, and who wants to be into politics in the department. I love politics at that time. As a practicing politician, I'm a journalist. It's right. So I said, yes, sir. He said, okay, so at what position? I said, information, communication. I love communication. I could be director of communications for the department. He said, fine, you are going to be it. So we had a stakeholder meeting just after that. And he said, for geography, information, the department. So they just shared the positions. And what happened? They elected the chairman that was to sell the form. And the chairman specifically told me when I went to buy my form, he told me I am the only person that is going to buy that form. I was the only candidate that was going to buy the form. I told the chairman, but there are other persons that want to buy the form. He said, I am the chairman and I'm the one selling the form. And I'm only selling the form to you. Ramsey, do you believe that after the chairman sold the form to me, any other person, if you call him to buy the, and you know it was like 48 hours, to buy the form and everything. If you are calling him, the chairman will say he's at Iko Ekpene and the school is in Uyo. Can you come to Iko Ekpene? How many students can afford transport to Iko Ekpene?
Just a gimmick.
Yeah, just to get Iko Ekpene. The chairman will tell you he's at Eket. And you know the hours are going. You can't flog him, you can't beat him. So this is all I've seen happening. This just reminds me again because Turaki has been endorsed by the northern caucus of the party. Even though largely a lot of persons do not agree with that endorsement. And so Lamido, a former governor of Jigawa, wants to be chairman of the party. And the North has already taken a decision. Tomorrow was supposed to be, we got invites for tomorrow to come for the screening of the candidates, but the PDP has postponed as at this time. We've not gotten any other invites as to when that screening will be done. Right? And today was for submission. So Lamido said the forms were not collected from him. And I don't doubt it. I know how these things happen. See, if you are the chairman and I don't want to collect the form from you, I will not collect it. and it's a problem.
So what happened when you were in school? Repeating itself somehow.
Where did we learn it from? No, you can't get it because if a chairman doesn't want to get the form and you don't have anything against him when you go to the court of law, did the chairman get the form? No. So it's funny.
So he started by giving an instance of what happens at is it peripheral aspect of politics, because there's a lot of politics in school too,
right?
And he was talking about the fact that his own form, Lamido's form, was not collected.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't even submit the form in the first place, meaning he didn't submit for. How would you?
Right.
So what do you think is playing out? Because what PDP is trying to fight right now is how they can put their house in order. But these are little things that could still generate some form of enmity.
Right.
As it is right now. So what are you seeing as it has to do with the convention and of course the chairmanship of the party? And you know what? Well, this is funny. We can't really stop laughing because of the situation, of course.
Okay, absolutely. Let's jump right to it, right? Sule Lamido is a man I have a lot of respect for, not because he's a member of the PDP, but because it's somebody I had come to see as a younger boy growing up, as somebody who is very cerebral. I mean, you need to listen to him talk away from political issues. You know that this man is mentally sound. I remember his days as governor of Jigawa State. I remember how he was very vocal about the PDP and its leadership. I mean, he was the man who history will remember as someone who had said the PDP will rule Nigeria for 70 years. But that's not a conversation for today. All right, but Sule Lamido, I must tell you, Ramsey, is not a stranger to the drama going on right now. Sule Lamido cannot look at some of us in the eye and say he's surprised, he's shocked that this is coming to him as news. No, because this gimmick has been there, longer than even PDP itself as a party. All right. So whatever is happening right now is a trick that most political parties have used in this country. So there's really nothing new about it. But he also needs to understand, learn to read the room different now. Times have changed. This is not the PDP of 98 to 2015. All right. It will appear the dynamics are not exactly the same today as Mr. Lamido had known them to be back then. All right. That's one very important issue you must realize. Two, there's something you must give to the North. Once there is consensus about any issue, especially as it has to do with this kind of choice, I'm not sure Mr. Lamido has the muscle, political or otherwise, to influence it, to flip it. All right. So I think what he should do is either find a way to align with it, even though he may not like the idea, or he would just be giving credence or lending credence to the theory by some people, or insinuation in some quarters, that he is an Atiku boy, so to speak, and he's also in the APC to, if you like, do the Atiku hatchet job ultimately. But again, we hope that's not what it is, because if it is, it means that there must be a handful of people, at least in the PDP, who understand that element, and they are not going to allow him the chance or opportunity to bring that sort of plot to fruition. However, Ramsey, beyond the Lamido issue, which for the PDP is not a big deal, let's be very clear, the PDP does not see it as an issue at all. But what the PDP should be considering as a big issue at this point in time is the fact that it doesn't have all the time in the world to get its acts together and be better prepared, formidably ready for 2027. And the bad news is that time is ticking.
Time is ticking, and that's the bad thing. The bad thing is that time is ticking. But then, Usoro, as it is right now, the problem in the People's Democratic Party, do you see it coming to an end very soon? Because one thing is, we don't know what's going to happen at the convention yet. A lot of suspense. Nobody knows what's going to happen at the convention. Whether it's going to be peaceful, you know how convention is. Whether it's going to be peaceful, it has been postponed from time to time, and now they have a date, and a little form of zoning. The auditor is going to come from here, the secretary, and all of that. Then the chairmanship and all of that. But then the crisis in the People's Democratic Party, with what is happening, can we now say this crisis is going to end anytime soon? Maybe the convention will put it to an end. The reason why I'm asking is because, for me personally, there was a neck/boat meeting that I covered, and there was joy. Everybody, governors were there, party chairmen from different states, they were all there, and it was jubilation all through that what the crisis has ended, all right? And then Damago then addressed the people and we left. Just not quite long, we begin to hear one or two pockets of crisis still in the People's Democratic Party. And 2027 is around the corner. So what do you think?
All right, so there's a court case now that we'll be listening to on the 31st of this month. And some members of the PDP are seeking to obtain, the dates of that convention. According to those who are seeking that, they say enough consultation was not done. They are presenting at least two major items as their as their grievances. One is that they before Damago and whoever signed, because Anyanwu said for whatever reason that I was not the one that signed. So before Damago signed that convention later, enough consultation was not done and congresses were not held in at least 14 states of the PDP, because the PDP constitution and the Constitution of Federal Electoral Act 2022 as amended talks about the fact that before you hold a national convention, congresses must be held at the state level. So those guys are saying that it was not held. And at the last count, the court says let status quo remain, meaning what is on the ground should continue, right? According to my lawyer friends. But that court, a decision may likely be taken on the 31st as to if this convention should stand or should not stand. So all of the preparations that are going on are going to be subjected to that particular interpretation of the law, whatever the judge says on that day. If the judge says the PDP convention will not hold on the 31st of this month, it will not hold. If he says go ahead, go ahead. So there are a lot of people in the party that feels that enough consultation was not done. For instance, the FCT minister had a media chat just some days ago, and he mentioned this, that the governors took over the party. So I feel that maybe we still need to do a lot more consultation to bring everybody together. The PDP needs to do that to bring everybody together. And we've also seen the Southeast caucus of the party threaten that they may be leaving the party if they don't receive anything significant. And I think the PDP, in his wisdom, immediately Peter Mbah resigned from the party to APC. They appointed former Senator Ben Obi to take up as the secretary, of that convention planning committee, trying to balance because those from the Southeast believe that they've been so loyal to the PDP, but the PDP has not been loyal to them. And even Peter Mbah and the rest of them also made those assertions. So the PDP is trying to balance. Then concerning the issue of zoning, the Southeast specifically have mentioned positions like the National Women Leader. But the PDP has not gone down to do zoning or positioning to zones. What has been zoned is that the national chairman of the party goes to the north, and the presidential candidate of the party in 2023 will go to the south. Those are positions that has been zoned. But I know there's this gentleman agreement in the party that, okay, if the chairman is from the north, the secretary should be from the south. But the last secretary was from the southeast, which is Sam Anyanwu. Are we going to see somebody again from the southeast? Those are conversations, because even some persons, one of my friends who was, trying to be chairman of the party, chairman of the party, talking about CD Bumi. He's from North Central, and he invested a lot of energy trying to convert delegates. One thing I'll give you to the PDP is that they made the delegate list open, so you know who is going to be voting in the convention. And I think that's a good one. Right. I'm not the ones we see from other political parties that the chairman is the one with the delegate list. So the list is there. So you went around, only for him to now hear when the PDP said we've chosen Turaki, without consulting other candidates that had intention of running for that position. And some persons are angry. So I think the way APC did it during 2022, after 2023, after our current president emerged as the presidential candidate of the party, he visited other aspirants. He visited them at their homes just to tell them, you are not a loser. I've come out. The party has chosen me at this time. Tomorrow they could choose you. Let's work together. I think that's what Turaki needs to do at this time, and not going with the media.
Is it late to do that?
There's still time. There's still time, but that is subject to the time, because if the court says on the 31st that this convention will not hold, it will not hold.
Right.
All right. I think the crisis in the People's Democratic Party is something else. Now, can we look at the problem itself now? One, this party is preparing for 2027, and this is trying to put its house in order here. But the way it is going, are you foreseeing that with this zoning and picking one person, it's one thing for the chairmanship to be zoned, and it's another thing for one aspirant to be picked out of the number of people that will be aspiring to chair the party. So do you foresee more internal or intra-crisis in the People's Democratic Party as a result of this?
Okay, Ramsey, again, every person who is, interested in this chairmanship, national chairmanship of the PDP has their own base. In other words, they have a block of people who are loyal to them. And it's pretty much like when they say you can't cut your nose to spite your face, right? So if one person feels hurt, for example, in this instant case, Mr. Sule Lamido, just rest assured that his base will go with him wherever he moves. Again, sad and painful as it sounds, the PDP is giving some of these people some legitimate reason to want to defect to the APC. There are people in the PDP today who already have one leg in the APC, formally or informally. All right, but with this kind of crisis, if it escalates beyond this point, because this is a more like a tilting point for them. All right, so if it happens now, it just means things will tip over, and if that happens, PDP is going to most likely lose some of its best hands again to the All Progressives Congress. Now, conversely, the APC is not a perfect party. The All Progressives Congress, the APC has its own, maybe a little more than fair share of crisis as well. As we speak today on this show, Ramsey, there are people in the ruling APC who are not satisfied with the way the party is, if you like, taking care of its members. There are those who still feel today that they worked seriously for President Bola Tinubu, then the candidate of the party. They worked for the party top to bottom, and the party has not compensated them, either by way of appointment or contract or patronage of some kind. However, some of us are not clear how the APC does it. The party still has been able to manage all of those internal wranglings in such a way that everybody still keeps talking about Asiwaju 2027. Everybody still keeps wearing the cap. Everybody is still talking about how they are going to throw in their 2 cents to ensure that they support the president to come back in 2027. In the PDP, is a different ballgame altogether. I saw an article written by a PDP member who even asked, is there hope for the PDP? I'm not sure I have an answer to that question. But you see, the PDP at this point in time must have a common front. The PDP must learn to sheath their swords. There are people in the PDP who still have a lot of bad blood, most of them for reasons very legitimate and valid. However, the question is, can they make progress with that kind of culture, that kind of reality? The answer is capital letter no. Therefore, what the PDP probably should consider at this point in time is there are those who must drop their ego. For example, I heard from our political correspondent a while ago, Uba Usoro, saying that when Mr. Wike, FCT minister, had a press briefing the other day, was talking about how the governors in the PDP have taken over the party or hijacked the party, as politicians are fond of saying. The question is there anybody who has hijacked the party more than him? I'm just curious. So the thing is, you must have a PDP where everybody understands that we have differences. But in spite of our differences, we must be able to pull our rope in the same direction. The challenge of the PDP right now is the party has become, in a manner of speaking, a heart that is being pulled from different directions by different people. Yeah, all right, so when you do that, what do you find? Ultimately, the heart is depleted, and the person for whom that heart is supposed to be vital dies. So the question is, what does the PDP want to achieve? Because there's still the fight over who gets what. No, we are supposed to produce the next national secretary. No, we know those are human factors. We can't pretend about them. But we must keep the main thing. However, the challenge again is the PDP doesn't seem to have been able to properly align its priorities as a political party.
So now, can we say this is as a result of greed? Because everybody is like, okay, whatever the problem is, everyone just bury their hatchet, whatever the issue is, let's just focus and build our party. Because a lot of people will tell you, political practice in Nigeria does not have ideology, which is debatable anytime, any day. But then, with what is happening now, what can you say about there's a word we use, staunch member of the party chieftain and all of that. And this can be proven by some level of sacrifices. Now, with what is happening now, can it be attributed to maybe self-gain, putting self first instead of the party? Is it even possible to put the party first, okay, before individual, looking at what is happening now? I'm the one that is supposed to be there. I'm the one that is supposed to be there. I think it's part of what is causing this problem now. Can we now say what's playing out is greed instead of put the house in order and let's have consensus and forge forward for 2027?
I don't know. From all I see, I'm not a member of the party. I've never been a current member of any political party. But the PDP, I mean, given what it's dealing with right now, is a bad lesson in how not to lead a political party. The PDP has made a fundamental mistake of building its party structures around individuals. So if Ramsey leaves, we are all afraid that we might collapse. If Obong leaves, everybody is shaking because we might collapse. So the question is, does the PDP have structures? Because politicians keep talking about structures. Why are those structures not coming to bear now that the PDP is in deep crisis? All right? And now to the issue of individuals. In 2022, going into 2023, we saw what happened with Wike, former governor of Sokoto State, Tambuwal, and of course the presidential candidate of the party, talking about former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. They said, okay, well, the issue started with the former Vice President not picking Mr. Wike as his running mate, blah, 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 blah. That Wike had vowed that on account of that, he will sink the party no matter how long it takes and what it will cost him and all of that. Today, Mr. Atiku is no longer a member of the party. Why have things not changed for the better? Wike, who some people had thought would become, or at least provide leadership, become the de facto leader of the party, it has maybe 1.5 legs inside the APC and half inside PDP. And for Wike to even come out and say that governors have hijacked the PDP, it's not only laughable, it just spikes curiosity. Right? So the question is, as of today, who is that person providing forward-looking, exemplary leadership for the PDP? It's not about convention in Ibadan. Anybody can do convention in Ibadan. But what are the structures you're bringing? What are the issues you're advancing? And who is going to drive those conversations? This is not about who becomes who goes where, who gets what. It's about, do we still have the same PDP today as we did between 1999 and 2007? Is it still the same party between 2007 and 2015, even though the PDP had lost that election under former President Goodluck Jonathan? In any case, look at the number of, the caliber of people who have left the PDP. And ask yourself, how much of implication does it have for the party? Because let's be clear, it is human beings that make up a party. So every day you lose one important, vital person, and then the party is depleted. And then you come and you tell people that, well, nothing has changed, the PDP is strong, PDP is formidable, we are going into 2027, we are going to unseat President Bola Tinubu. Meanwhile, the APC is just having red wine and popcorn. Because what they are seeing is a party that is weakened from the inside every day. And if this trajectory is sustained into 2027, it's just going to be, for want of better words, hot knife through butter for the APC and whoever the candidate is going to be at that point in time, which from what we see right now is going to be President Bola Tinubu. So the PDP must be able to go back to the drawing board, move from the individualistic thinking and be collective in its approach of driving the party. The PDP had done new PDP one time, NPDP, where we had former Senate presidents, talking about former governor of Kwara State, Saraki. We had seen all of that happen. So can the PDP not reinvent itself at this point in time? But you are going to have to stop this infighting. It's going to stop being an issue between Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde versus Wike. You must be able to do all of that. And the PDP should also find the courage to tell those who it finds recalcitrant, to say, look, if you feel uncomfortable being a member of the party, we are going to leave with 2 options. We'll give you 72 hours to consider formally resigning from the party, or we'll do that for you. You see, leadership is about also making the tough calls sometimes. The PDP seems to be walking a tightrope at this point in time for whatever reasons. But again, he who must come to equity must come with clean hands. And they say once you put your hands on the plow, you shouldn't look back, because if you look back, you're not fit for the kingdom.
Well, that is strategy. He who hold the plow and look back is not fit for the kingdom. So if you want to be in the People's Democratic Party, be there. If you are not there, looking back, man, you're not fit to be there. Now, you said something very vital, and I'm going to throw it back to Usoro right now. The issue of structure. On a baby station, on a sister station, the former governor of Kaduna State, talking about El Rufai, was talking about ADC, and he said he was asked a question, and he said for now, ADC is not talking about who is going to be the presidential candidate, who is going to be this and that yet, that they are trying to put a structure together. That's to tell you of how important a structure is in political parties. And even in Labour Party, one of the things that a lot of people said, oppositions, about Labour Party in 2023 was that they don't have a structure, it's a social media party, and they were not going to go anywhere until they gave the ruling party a run for their money for real, and everyone saw it. So the issue of structure is very important as far as political parties are concerned. But now, the People's Democratic Party, who you said something very vital, there is this jittering. If this person leaves, the party may collapse. If this person leaves, at a time they were even rumoring that some of the people playing anti-party and are not ready to do anything about the party, the ones sponsoring the party. There were a lot of rumors. But as it is right now, do you think the People's Democratic Party, as it is, have structure?
Right. So when it comes to the issue of structure, right, with the PDP, after the APC, I think in Nigeria, only two political parties have widespread structures that way. Those political parties are APC and PDP and others. Because even the Labour Party that you are talking about, when it comes to issues of structure, you can't compare the structure of APC and PDP with the structure of Labour Party. I covered the 2023 elections, and I saw firsthand there were places that the Labour Party didn't have party agents to sign election forms. There were places they didn't have party agents. But there's no place, there's no ward, there's no polling booths in this Nigeria that PDP does not have a party agent till tomorrow. So that structure is people that can mobilize support for you. In every village, PDP has people that they can call this night, and they can walk door to door in those villages, call the names of their people and tell them why they should vote for people, vote for that sign with the umbrella. They have those people. So those are the structure. The ability to be able to mobilize, people that can mobilize support, people that can stand and protect your votes. I know those days when I covered elections, you see PDP will send refreshments to people. And these are public facts now. It will send refreshment to people at the polling booths across the nation. Those are structures that they talk about. Those are the structures. When they hear structures, what do you think they are talking about? They are talking about the ability to be able to mobilize their resources and put it in the lives of the people, whether for good or negatively, whatever. A result will come about. They have the ability. You know, PDP can mobilize 2 million Nigerians and bring them to Abuja. Those are structures within 48 hours. Because they have people they can call, just one WhatsApp call. They have groups that they can drop messages, and these things will go viral. So those are the structures they talk about. Do PDP still have that structure? I say yes, because a lot of the people that support PDP are at the grassroots level. They still have a lot of grassroots supporters, because some, especially those in the south, the PDP had become like a recurring decimal in their life. It had become like a religion in their life. You just say people keep saying party is supreme. So there are still persons that, even when my state governor moved to the APC, my very good governor, right? According to what the people are saying, when the governor moved to the APC, there are still people who didn't move with him, and they are in the PDP on the occasion of principles. They say no. My principal, for instance, former Commissioner for Information and Special Duties, also in a he didn't move with the governor. He said for principle's sake, I am PDP till tomorrow. A serving commissioner, refused to move, and these are people that have the consciousness of that party. So that party, you cannot just while away and say no. PDP is a major party in Nigeria. Look at, even after they lost election in 2015, there's no election in this country that they've not come second now. So even as worst as bad as it is, it has been with them. At least you know that after the APC wins an election, we know that the PDP will come second. Because even if you want to manipulate election, you need people to be there. Except elections can be manipulated, you know. But when you have these structures, you have people that will sign on that election sheet. And PDP have people all across 774 local governments in Nigeria, and all the wards and all the polling booths that can do that for them. So they still have the structure. But what they are lacking now is the strong men, because somebody like Atiku Abubakar, personally, even if Atiku Abubakar goes to a party that is called A, he can bring at least 2 million votes to the table. I believe that. Nyesom Wike, like him or hate him, even if he goes to the party that is called B, Nyesom Wike can bring 2 million votes to the table. Whether that 2 million votes is organic or not organic, but you will see 2 million votes. You know, he has the capacity. You can't doubt it now. He has done it. The last election, how many votes did Rivers? He has it. Even in the PDP convention with what happened, you still saw that he brought capacity.
But these people left the People's Democratic Party.
No.
Nyesom Wike has not told Nigerians, but a lot of Nigerians are speculating that he is.
So those are the structures. So if you have somebody like,
but Atiku has gone.
Yes, Atiku has gone, but Atiku has not said he has gone. Remember, Atiku said the last information we got was that he didn't sign the ADC. Did you see his signature there? He didn't sign that.
No, he has not said the party he's in right now, but he resigned his membership of the People's Democratic Party.
Did you see him posting? He didn't post it on his. Go and check his Facebook. I think he's very
active on social media.
I didn't post that letter. Have you seen him post that letter?
No, he didn't post the letter, but he has not come out to say no. I am not.
He has not come out to say he has not come out to say he has resigned. He has not come out to say he has not resigned. We saw letter signed by Paul Ibe. Paul Ibe is his media assistant. I think leave these things.
What does the letter say that Paul Ibe signed?
These are in the realms of politics.
What does the letter say?
Tomorrow.
What does the letter say? Has he done a disclaimer to that effect?
As Atiku said, he's a member of any other political party as of today. Even the ADC that people are associating him with, a staunch Atiku ally told me, Ubon, as at now, Oga has not told us we are in ADC. We are still checking the political ground. So allow us.
He's looking for where he can.
So what if tomorrow he comes back? If the PDP, if for instance, Sule Lamido gets to be the chairman of the PDP, Atiku knows that the PDP offers him more viability than the ADC. He knows that.
So you're saying his chances are slimmer with Turaki?
Of course, yes. Of course, yes. Sule Lamido is his person. He knows. So if Sule Lamido emerges as the chairman, don't be surprised he comes back tomorrow and said, we are here. We are home. After all, he has come back many times. This is the first time he will come back home.
Nigerian political parties, well, you can't take that away. You see them defecting from one party to the other. Today in APC, tomorrow they call it cross-carpeting. The carpet is always there, and the people's legs are also still available to them. They can cross over the carpet as many times as possible. But now, let's go on a quick break. When we return, we'll look at what is happening from the constitutional review by the joint National Assembly, that is the Senate and the House of Representatives, as it has to do with the proposals for state creation. The desk returns with myself and Uyi and of course Usoro after this break. Stay with us. Well, as it is, so many things happening, and of course, we're talking about politics, and we're talking about the People's Democratic Party, and of course, the actors. What makes a movie sweet is the actors, and there is one they call the boss, but the actors make things happen. The actors in the People's Democratic Party, Usoro, have vehemently said the structure is there, and he went down to explain why he said the structure is still there. That's come tomorrow, come rain, come sunshine. If any election happens in Nigeria, the People's Democratic Party, irrespective of the exodus, defection, well, they will still come second. And he has actually went further to give us names of people that can present a certain number of votes as far as the People's Democratic Party is concerned. But then, is Atiku still contesting in 2027? That's a question for another day. Now, we all know that there have been proposal and rumor at a point. Some names were actually published in the National Daily as it has to do with state creation in Nigeria. There's been a lot of argument that states should be created. Some persons said they merit the state creation, especially the Southeast, which already has been approved that they need to have one more state additional to the 4 states to make it 5 that other regions are having. But then the proposal has it that 6 new other states need to be created from the different geopolitical zones now as it is. Some persons are saying, hey, come on, in this economy, what we need is not state creation. Some persons are saying this is very important and it's very vital because the people need this state creation because of marginalization. Now, let me get to Uyi first of all. From the National Daily today, it was being spelled out. That of the Southeast, they said they've approved for them. But then, 6 more states. I think they have a proposal for like 55, about 55 proposals also, but just 6. Now, what do you think about this constitutional review and this proposal that is coming right now?
Okay, quite frankly, one of the things we have been dealing with has been a very vehement conversation around things that have to do with marginalization. We're seeing different parts of the country talk about how that they've been marginalized and they want equity. Again, we understand ultimately this is all about the resources, right? Fiscal, federalism, and what have you, which has been there for quite a long time. But I think the first point to make here is that there's so much of consolation knowing that at least the committee that focuses on the constitution review at the National Assembly has now approved 1 more state for the Southeast because it had been seen as absence of equity to have had just 5 states for that region. Now going forward, it's going to be 6 states. Then others are also saying we need to have more states. I saw Senator Ned Nwoko also making a case for Delta so they can have Anyoma states and all of that. And he says he reposes a lot of confidence in President Bola Tinubu in this regard to make it happen because he had said, look, you people at the National Assembly, go do your part and the rest will fall in place and things like that. But you see, it also raises the question of having approved an additional state for the Southeast and regardless of the other proposals or the other if you like, demands for more states to be created across the different other zones or regions of the country. Should that be a priority right now? Why are we not having a conversation about states and their own economic competitive advantage? Why are we not talking to sub-nationals about how that they should go back home, in the manner of speaking, look at where they have strength in agriculture, for example, and pursue all of those? What have we done with the existing states as it stands today? I mean, as we know it today, we have 36 states and the FCT. If we look at all of these 36 states, how many of them are viable? How are they ranked in terms of Human Development Index? How are their local economies doing? Just this morning, you and I were talking on Global Money about how, the issue of FAC that comes to states every month on account of, the increase we have seen in that regard following the suspension of subsidy payments. How many of those governors are already telling us what they are doing with those monies? So, if you were to create more states under this circumstance, will it make Nigeria better or is just going to be more load? It's just going to be an extra baggage for the country? We must look at all of that. It's not so much about how many states you create as it is about how viable those states will be. Just like we're also talking about airports earlier today. Everybody wants to have an airport now in different states. But the question is, how many of those airports are viable? From some economic experts now, we're hearing that it's about just 2 of those airports that are economically viable. So the question is, of what value are the other airports? So state creation is more political than it is economic. But again, I ask, how much of blessing economically, politically, and socially will these additional states make should they be created?
All right. So State creation, 6 states already being proposed apart from the one state. He said, well, the ones we have, how is it being managed? How are the governors who are the number one citizen of these states, how are they managing the ones that we have? Now, we said something, we're discussing something, and we're talking about the fact that the money realized from subsidy going to the governors is not properly accounted for. We even talked about it this morning, and of course, my guest was saying, so he named some governors that actually attested to the fact that monies is being generated from the subsidy removal and it's getting to the governors. But a lot of governors have not shown anything about it. Now, coming to the issue of state creation and looking at the economy, what's your perspective?
Right, so let's look at the data now. So the North Central has 7 states. The Northeast have 6 states. We have the Northwest having 7 states too. The Southeast have 5. The South have 6, and the Southwest have 6. So what this means is that when we get to ministerial slots, each state has at least 2 ministers, right? The Southeast are going to have 2 less. Right, let's just say 6, whatever. They're going to have 2 less, or compared to the Northwest, they're going to have 4 less as ministers from that particular region. And senators too. Each state produces 3 senators. So the Southeast are going to be producing 3 senators less compared to maybe the South and the Southwest. So what this means is that when issues, and democracy is about number. When issues of representations are being talked about, the Southeast, they can argue that correctly, and I tend to agree with that argument. They may not have enough members to put pressure to push through issues, because 3 extra senators is a great thing for a region, right? So politically, I felt that we should balance the equation. As much as those from the Southwest could say, give us extra 1 to make it 7 like the Northwest, but at least 6 is fair. Look at 5, right? So they've been denying, even party roles, when party roles are shared, they also share it according to states. So, meaning that we'll have more people from the Southeast now come into national politics as a result of that additional 1 state that they have. Should we just go ahead creating states? I think no. But for me, I think that the Southeast is the only region in Nigeria at this point that can argue that, for the integration. Remember that after the war, we said no Victor, no language. Let's just for unity's sake, and looking at the Nnamdi Kanu issue now, there's a political undertone. Let's just speak to their conscience and bring them to the table. So for me, that argument makes sense. And of course, when a new state is created, and these are regions that are economically viable. There's no region in the Southeast that is not economically viable. If that argument will not fly, I know a governor, I don't want to mention his name, said the whole region in the Southeast can be compared to Niger State, which is, Niger is, quite, it's almost taking 4 states in the Southeast. I did fact check on that. Not all of the states, but Niger states can take at least 4 states in the Southeast. We are not talking about landmass now, but we are talking about representation of the region. Yes, the region may be small, but let them feel the representation, because I feel the people from the Southeast feel greatly marginalized,
disadvantaged.
So even with this state creation thing, it speaks to that disadvantage, right? In fact. But let us close these factual gaps so that we don't have people point to the fact and say, see, now we have 5, others have 6. Let us close these facts. So that when you now talk, we are not being represented. You say, why are you not represented? You have the same number, I have the same number. And we can now speak to the issue. So on that note, I think only the Southeast deserve to get this. Which is also subject to, after this constitutional review, it will also be subject to 2/3 majority passing by both houses, and before eventually it gets to the president. And I don't know what is in the mind of the president if it passes through the both legislature. If the president thinks the Southeast deserve, fine. This is the time they have to lobby, political lobbying, to get a state. Because when you get a state, a new governor will emerge, right? And we know governors in Nigeria, right? You become a billionaire overnight if you were not already one before you get in there. New people will be gotten into jobs. Yes, state creation creates jobs because a new capital will be open. So there's a lot of economic activity. Right. And at this time, the Southeast is a very productive region.
they can take care of themselves. If without this insecurity, I know there's a market in Aba that produces the money that some local government gets as allocation in a month. All right, so it's a big deal. It's a big deal. I think it's fair. I think it's important. Nigeria needs to heal, and this is one of the things that can help us heal well.
All right. Well, this is one of the things that can help Nigerians heal well, especially people from the southeast. The activities we talked today extensively about the activities of governors who feel it's their right. Whatever money that is coming is their right. They decide to do whatever they want to do with it because they feel no one is going to question them. Now, more states to be created. Is it right? Is it because of economic development? Are we managing the states that we have enough? Do we deserve more states? All of this put together, we have come to the end of the desk this evening. It's so beautiful to have the both gentlemen join us on the desk this evening. Thank you very much, Uya Bomofuegbe, for joining us on the desk.
My pleasure, Ramsey.
Thank you very much, Usoro Umbong, for joining us on the desk, and of every one of you, a very big thank you to you for being part of the desk today. Well, this is where we call it a wrap. The desk come on your way again. My name is Ramsey Enoch Agbo. Bye-bye for now.